All right, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Tea with Doug G. If you don't know me, my name is Doug Gooden, and hope everyone's having a great week. Happy Monday. But enough about me, because we have two incredible guests with us tonight, y'all. We have Sydney Wakeford and Kendal Reeves, the co-directors of the upcoming Boss Babes Cabaret. Welcome to both of you, and I'm just gonna kind of hand the floor over to y'all. Tell the folks who you are, what you do, all that jazz.
All right. Kendal, do you want to start? We'll just go in alphabetical order. You said no, I don't.
You do like that. Okay. Well, I am Kendal Reeves. I am a third-year marketing and theater double major with a certificate in sustainability. And yeah, I'm the co-director of Boss Babes.
Okay. Was that? Oh, good. So I'm still here. Okay. Hello, Heidi. We were just discussing you. I'm Sydney Wakeford. I am a fourth-year computer science and theater double major. I am the production manager of Next Act, which is UGA's musical theater student group, and I am also a co-director of Boss Babes.
Excellent. Yes. For those of you who have been watching the show for a hot minute, we love student groups at UGA here, and we love Next Act. We love all the projects that y'all put on. I believe this is the second cabaret that we've had y'all's directors on. So yeah, very excited to have y'all on. Very excited for this conversation. Oh, well, we just lost Ken. That was Kendall's way of saying, all right, I'm gonna call it a day on this, but she's back. Here we go. Hello again, Kendal.
Oh no.
Kendal, okay. Look, trust me, it's completely fine. If something doesn't go wrong with at least every episode of this show, it feels empty. It really does.
Show. They did tell me that it works better with Google Chrome, so I might do a little switcheroo.
All right.
If you think that would work.
By all means, if you would like to try it, I mean, more power to you. Excuse me.
We can see how it goes. Let's see.
I think I'll just wait. I'll give a general delay after everything I say and after everything Kendal says, just to make sure we're all good. I'll just
yeah. It's all good. But yeah. Well, while we are getting into that, we can at least start off with our questions. But here, we don't actually have to wait that long, because here is Kendal, folks, on Google Chrome. Welcome back, Kendal, the Chrome version. But yeah, well, y'all, let's jump into it with some of these questions, okay? All right, so first question comes from friend of the show, Ben Tankersley, and he wants to know, what is your favorite musical that is based on a movie or a pre-existing property? And I'll let whoever would like to go first. I will say, even though Kendal is first alphabetically, Sydney, your name is first on the marquee that is off center, but it's okay.
Interesting concept. Okay. I think I have a few for this one. I'm a big Legally Blonde fan. Big Fish fan. Those are both shows that I did in high school, so they have a special place in my heart. Spam-A-Lot. Love some of the producers. You love it. Yeah, I'll stop there. There's a lot.
Okay. I would have to say Waitress.
Oh, good.
It was my first show that I saw on Broadway, and I saw it on Sarah Bareilles' opening night as Jenna. So it was a pretty good first Broadway experience, if I
do say so myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine so. Yeah, Waitress is the one big based on something show that I have yet to see, and I really do hate the fact that I haven't seen it. as soon as live theater is back in full swing, first thing I'm doing that and six. That's where we're going with it. But yeah, thank you for that question, Ben. Also a comment, not really a question, but a comment that was made by someone who we all know, Rachel Witzel. Rachel Witzel just wanted to say, and I quote, "Hello to all my rats."
Yes, to all my rats out there. If you can
which I know as a reference to the show that y'all did last year, which is the show that y'all did last year, She Kills Monsters. Actually, could y'all just take a second, because I've heard the story behind why everyone was called rats, but could you just elaborate on that and explain it to the folks who are watching?
Maybe I have a different perception of it than everyone else, but I feel like I was just calling everybody rats, and then we all just started calling each other rats. And then there's this YouTube video with like these animated rats. And it's really good. It's really good. So sometimes we would sing the rat song and we just all were each other's little rats. It was really fun.
I'm not gonna go ahead, Kendall.
I just remember Sydney starting to call us rats in the Snapchat group chat, and I was like, interesting. What does she mean by that? But now I'm called a rat.
I'm just gonna say that's the single most theater kid thing I've ever heard, without a doubt.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, well, look, it's all good. It's all good. So okay, so it's rare that we have two directors for anything on this, or really three directors for anything on this program, and I'm always curious about other directors' processes, how you put together the work that you put together. So with creating this cabaret and with planning it out and organizing it, one of the things that I'm curious about is what exactly was your process with creating the set list for the cabaret? And again, I'll let whoever would like to take it.
I guess I'll start the answer. So it was a very long process. We started with, so for those of you who don't know, the only premise that we had for Boss Babes was that the set list was of all female artists. And so we had a Spotify playlist, and we would just add our favorite bops by female artists. And, we did that for a while, and then eventually would narrow it down. And we had like a general idea of a set list or like vibes that we wanted to go for. But then once we got the actual cast, Cindy, do you want to take it from there in that time?
I think you're doing great, but yeah, so we had like a general set list that we were kind of thinking about. I'd say we were like trying to commit to that, but then once we got the cast we were like, this just needs to be something, I don't know. We were just like, this needs to be a little more personal. So we instead went through all the cast members, and we like made a list, and we would just list songs for each person. Like, this song could be really good for this person. And we had a lot of options for each of them. And then we just went through the whole list and like made a set list out of their individually catered songs. So it was really fun. Actually, I think it ended up being really like a good set list. So yeah. I was happy with how it came out.
Yeah, because that process made us, like, as directors, more personally invested in like that song specific for that cast member. And so I think that really helped us work that song specifically for each person differently. And like we had our motivations for why we thought it would suit them. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Yeah. And I think in terms of cabarets, that's a thing that's always interested me, is how do you actually get it together? Because there is a flow to it. It's not just something that's put together on a whim. So yeah, I love hearing about that process. And I also love the fact that you brought up how important and integral your cast was to what the cabaret wound up being. So what I'm curious about is what do you feel is the greatest challenge for you when you're casting a show or a cabaret or really any project that you're doing?
Well, I think probably the biggest struggle we had with this particular project was we really wanted to make it a really like representative and inclusive set list. And then we also wanted to make sure we cast the show in a way that respectfully and like properly represented those people, those artists.
Yeah.
So that's probably like our main focus with casting this. Besides that, I mean, the greatest challenge, everyone's just so
good,
so talented. We just who could choose?
Yeah. Now I want to take a second because for those of you who have not seen the set list, go over to Next Act's page, or I think BTE also shared the post, and take a look at this cast list because good Lord, like it is stacked to the nines. I know that I just combined two metaphors, but yeah, no, like that's an insane cast that y'all have together.
They're really awesome.
We're really excited. All of them
also
are really cool.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's all I had to say.
Everyone was really cool. Oh yeah, I guess also with casting this, it was really important to us to we really wanted some like newcomers to Next Act and BTE and maybe like the theater scene in general at UGA. And I think we really did get a lot of that. Like so many of our cast members, this is their first Next Act production, but it's even though it's Next Act BTE, but so yeah.
And since this isn't like a musical theater cabaret, it's like mostly pop songs, and it's not limited to just like theater performances. We wanted to market it in a way that would reach audiences that like it didn't require you to be like a theater kid, and so it was really hard to reach people outside of both like Next Act's like already existing audience to get people even outside of the theater department. And I think that we did do that. We have a lot of freshmen, we have a lot of different like majors, and then later in the process we got more people involved from different areas. So yeah.
I also just want to take another second to point out the fact that I know a lot of y'all's cast are freshmen, and for real, I don't know what happened with UGA this year, but like they just got all the most talented freshmen I've ever seen in my entire life, just brought them together and was like, here.
Yes.
We
love them. We love them.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Okay, so one of the really cool things about this cabaret is that it's not solely a Next Act production. It's not solely a BTE production. It's one of many collaborations that have been incorporated this past year. And what I'm curious about, well, really, what are your thoughts on that recent trend that we're seeing in collaborations and also attempts at collaboration between student groups at UGA?
Do you have any particular thoughts, Kendall? Do you want me to start?
I guess, yeah, I think it's really cool, and I would love to see this trend advancing in the future. I feel like if I went back to my freshman days, the only time where I was exposed to every student group at one moment was those like meetings at the beginning of the year when they all had the presentations. And after that meeting, it was hard to get like exposure to different groups of people like easily. And so I always want
She'll be back. She'll be back.
She'll be back. She's taking a dramatic pause, folks. You're good. You're good.
Now? Okay, cool. Where did I leave off?
I believe it was being exposed to all the student groups at once.
A opportunity of people, not like separate. Shows, and so I think that student group.
Yeah, definitely. And Sydney, did you have anything to add on that fact?
I mean, nothing really like that different. It was really, really fun getting to work with some of the BTE board more closely. It was really, really fun. And I also just think it's awesome, like, that we can all use each other as resources, because like every student group kind of has their thing, and if we like come together and share those talents and skills with each other, you know, I just think that's awesome. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with that, and I would also like to see that trend continue.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's really crazy, you know, and in a year where our industry was very put on hold, somehow our student groups here at UGA, like, we all rallied together and really got a lot of great work done.
Yeah.
But yeah. And also, okay, so kind of going off of that note, a question that I'm a fan of asking anyone who's directing for a student group. What is your dream collaboration between student groups that you would like to see? Like, for instance, I said 2 weeks ago, I said, something crazy inside me would love to see like Yiru Mechanicals teaming up with Next Act and doing like a Shakespearean musical.
Yeah.
Just like take any one of Shakespeare's plays and turn it into a musical. Like, that would probably take several years to plan out. But
you know what Next Act should do with Yiru Mechanicals is Something Rotten. That would be so fun.
There we go.
That's a good one.
There we go.
There's my dream collab.
And Kendall, did you have something to say on the subject?
I mean, I could hop on that.
I will also say that in a weird moment of existentialism, a few weeks ago, I asked that question to Mecca and Emma when they were promoting CTT's show, and I 100% did say, I don't know what it is, but I would love to see Next Act and CTT do like Sweeney Todd for children, which would be horrible, but some crazy demented part of my brain would love to see it.
I feel like there's a lot of like weird nursery rhymes and like folk songs that are like, think about like Ring Around the Rosie, you know, literally about the plague. So I feel like you're onto something. Personally.
Hear me out. We do a horror genre type of musical, but it's all based around nursery rhymes.
Yes. Oh.
You know, let's try it. Let's try it.
I like it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of it now that I said that those exist. I'm trying to think of another example and I can't think of one at all, but I know they're out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Jack and Jill went up the hill.
Yes.
Came tumbling down and.
Oh, Humpty Dumpty. That's terrifying.
Humpty Dumpty. Yeah. Have Humpty Dumpty. I don't know why I'm focusing on this so long, but have Humpty Dumpty sing like Jeremy Jordan's song from the show Smash, where he's just like, and he's like, I'm standing on the ledge, and I step off the edge.
Yeah. That might be too real. I don't know.
It's 100% too real, Sydney. I should have never said it. I really should never have said that.
Okay. You gotta what's that thing that Michael Scott says that Wayne Gretzky says? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So,
exactly. That's it. That's it. So, okay. So you've gone through this entire process of directing a cabaret a cabaret in the middle of a pandemic, which kudos to you, because directing stuff in a pandemic is hard, y'all. It's tricky. However, the question that we were given was, what do you like about directing a cabaret versus a full show? But I think a better way to word that would be, how do you feel directing one prepares you for the other, or what lessons do you think you'll take from this going forward?
Sorry if you can hear my Discord notifications.
No, you're good. Honestly, I thought it was mine. So I mean, you're totally fine.
I'm gonna mute it. People. Quiet. Oh, that's not even what I meant to do. I'm gonna exit. Okay. Kendall, you can start since you have actually directed something else.
Well, I think my answer would answer more the original question than your rewording,
which is completely fine.
So, I guess directing a cabaret versus a preset full show allowed us to have a lot more freedom because we choose the set list, but it being virtual as well, we get to choose what the audience sees, what the audience hears, like what story they gain from it, the flow of the show, and everything in between, you know? And so directing a play or something that has a script and like a set story, of course, has its own creative freedom, but a cabaret has something in itself that really allowed us to like take it and make whatever we wanted out of it.
Yeah,
which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I love that. Sydney, did you have something to add on that?
Sure. I guess I feel like mine, maybe this isn't answering the question at all, but I feel like mine kind of falls more in between like directing a virtual cabaret versus like a live cabaret. Like, because I haven't directed anything else, so I don't have a frame of reference. But yeah, kind of like what Kendall was saying, you get to choose what the audience sees. I feel like there's like something magical about obviously like live performance, but at the same time, it was really fun, like getting to work in some like different mediums and just kind of see what we could do with it. And also liked that the cabaret, like the same thing that Kendall said, we could kind of make it our own. Like I like that we got to choose the set list and we got to personalize it to the cast. So I guess cabaret versus full show, that's what I would like about a cabaret probably, was kind of that sense of personal meaning.
Yeah. And I think also there's something to be said for all the experience various people have acquired in directing virtual shows or cabarets during this past year. It's really been an opportunity to put something out there that you're always going to be satisfied with the product, because you know that you have done it in a way that you give the actors the best take. You give the audience the best look that they could have at the production. And I think there's something really beautiful about that, and really unique.
I think so too.
Yeah, definitely. Now, say that again.
Oh, nothing. I was just like mumbling. You go ahead, go on.
So in addition to being phenomenal directors, you also are both phenomenal performers. And a question that we got here was, do you prefer acting on film or acting on stage? And I've seen work from both of you in both mediums, and for the record, you're phenomenal in both of them. So, but yeah, I am curious as to which do you prefer?
Kendall, are you starting to say something?
No.
Okay. I just honestly at this point, I just don't know that I've had enough film experience to have a preference. I will say I have always, like I was saying before, like that live aspect of theater, it just changes, it gives you that special feeling, like the exchange of energy between the audience and the performers, like you just can't get that anywhere else. And I do really love that. And obviously I started acting in theater, so that's special to me. I will say I'm intrigued by acting on film. I am intrigued. It's fun. I'm definitely more involved in it this semester than I have been like ever. I don't think I've like done anything. Well, I did. Doug and I were in an acting for the camera class last semester, but
Yeah, we were.
that didn't go great for me. So I was like, maybe this is not for me. But I think it's all just about like getting used to like seeing your face on camera and like practicing being on camera. It's kind of hard, but it is really fun, and I'm excited to dive into that more.
Yeah, definitely. And Kendall, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, honestly, I have a very, very similar answer. I also started out like on stage acting and have done that for significantly longer, and of course love it. And you do get like a very specific and special feeling from live performance in front of an audience. But I also am very intrigued by on stage or on film acting. And want to get more experience doing on-screen acting. And similar to Sydney, in the past semester, I have gotten significantly more involved than ever in my life. And so I'm hoping that I will continue to get experience and like learn the difference. Because I was just talking to a friend today about how it's so different, and I really have to like learn a lot because I've found I am a little bit too expressive for the screen.
Yeah.
That's how it's hard to go from theater to film.
Yeah, but I'm excited to learn, and I really hope that I get more experience in both.
Sean, the grad student for the theater department, he was watching me film a scene one day, and he has said, he was like, you know, you don't have to say everything with your hands, and immediately, like, I mean, you do it, but it does not translate well over film.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Talking with my hands is 100% my Achilles heel when it comes to acting on film. But okay, so going forward, so obviously you're both incredibly talented artists, talented performers.
Please.
So
embarrassed.
Look, okay, the whole selling point of this show is I have you on, I promote your property, and I get to gush about all the great work that you do.
Okay, fine. Fine.
But one thing I love to ask literally anyone in the arts is what would you say is your greatest driving factor in creating your art and being the performer that you are? And Sydney, I hate to break it to you, but Kendall started a lot of the answers, so I'm gonna turn it to you to start us off here.
Let me explain myself. I talk too much, so I have to go out of my way to make sure the other person gets to talk first, because otherwise I'll just talk a lot, or I'm just like the person in the I'm just the person in like the class group that they're like, if you need, someone has to be the speaker, and I'm like, I'll be the speaker. Like, I just always will be the first one to jump in, so I just have to. Okay, I'm rambling now. Anyway, I would say the greatest driving factor in creating my art, I guess it's just kind of been over like the different experiences I've had. I feel like I get closer and closer to finding the things that I'm really the best at and what really mean the most to me, and like where I feel I can offer the most. So yeah, that's been That's really nice. So, just I mean, I know this is like kind of typical, but I guess just like finding your passion, because even if you're like passionate about something, like sometimes you just gotta narrow it down a little. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'd say just finding my way, finding my thing. Just seeing where I fit.
I love it. And you ended with the hand on the chin. I mean, it's a great answer. Great answer.
Thank you.
And then Kendall.
So I would say that I art explores different.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Did I lose
You're back. You're back.
A little bit.
You're back.
You're good.
I'm back.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. So, I would say my art just explores parts of myself, and sometimes, like, I didn't know that a part of me was there, and then I have like a role that calls for it, and I'm like, why on earth was I cast as this role that like is this sort of way? And then I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that I could be that type of person, and then and so I think that that's always interesting if I'm focusing on like the acting part of my art. But I guess connecting it to Boss Babes, it required a lot of different areas of art to explore. And like Sydney said, I feel like we both just found so much passion in this process. And like learning was a big role in it because I just had so much fun learning every single process, and like the other people that we pulled in to work with us, I was like, teach me everything, teach me all the little steps, and so now I can like create whatever I want, like in terms of like taking things inside my head. And I guess I'm talking about film, but yeah, it was super cool. So I guess like just learning about myself, but then also learning about different ways to create.
Lovely. I love that. I love that. And also, we've gone through this entire conversation, and Kendall, you really just set me up great for the big final question that I have to ask for the night. And y'all, we've been talking for this entire time about this elusive thing called Boss Babes. And I just gotta know. Tell the folks, what is Boss Babes? Where can they watch it? Where can they find tickets for it? What is Boss Babes?
What is Boss Babes? What is Boss Babes? What isn't Boss Babes? That's what I would like to know.
What is a Boss Babe?
Okay, good question. Well, to speak more, specifically on it, Boss Babes is a virtual cabaret of different. It's an anthology, if you will, of various performances, and some extra content with the cast throughout. And yeah, it just is a cabaret that focuses on like self-empowerment, independence, self-worth, self-love, trusting yourself. And I think in finding those themes, like what we started with when we were first making our set list, we were like, what themes would we like to see highlighted in this cabaret, and what songs can we include to highlight those themes? And then I think through that, we found what we would describe as like the main qualities of a boss babe. We found that confidence is like huge. A boss babe is confident, that they can lean on each other for support. They can lean into their community. Yeah, trusting your intuition, trusting your choices. Anything else, Kendall?
Yeah, those are really good ones. I would say sort of like a defiance of societal standards, which goes along with just like knowing yourself because you don't care what other people have to say because you are confident and independent in yourself. And we had a lot of discussions throughout the process with the cast. Like our first ever rehearsal, we asked this question and we were like, what do you guys think? Like, what makes you feel like a boss babe? Just like simple tasks in your day. Like, when do you feel like just like, okay, I'm that I'm that boss babe. And then we were able to draw from that, like, okay, what does that activity spark in you? What quality is that? And it was really interesting to learn throughout the process, learn more about our and like what qualities that I have that make me a boss babe. It was really cool.
Awesome. And when will that start streaming for everyone?
Yes. It premieres April 3rd at 7 p.m. If you go, the Next Act has a Facebook event and a website and a link tree. So you just hit up any of like Next Act or BTE's social media, and you can find a link to the Zoom watch party, which begins at 6:30 on April 3rd. And then, like I said, it premieres 7 p.m. on April 3rd, and then it's going to remain on YouTube, hopefully, as long as there's not any like copyright.
I have all the confidence that will stay on YouTube. But yeah, trust me, y'all, you will not want to miss it. Like I said earlier, the cast list for this is insane. I'm so excited for it. And I'm very excited to see what you two talented, incredible, just human beings have done. But yeah, well, folks, that brings us to the end. Oh, Kendal, Sydney, thank you so much for coming. Did you have a good time?
I did. Thank you, Doug. Thank you.
Well, always a pleasure. Thank you to everyone in the chat, which basically means my mother and Zach Tate. Thank you to both of you. But yeah, be sure to check out Boss Babes. It's going to start streaming this Saturday, 7 p.m. Be sure to keep up with everything that Viter Media has going on. We have new episodes of Saying the Skeen dropping every Wednesday, new episodes of Tea with Doug G every Monday. Once again, thank y'all so much for coming out. And until next time, I'm Doug Gooden. That's Sydney Wakeford and Kendal Reeves, the co-directors of Boss. And this has been the Tea.
Yes.
Y'all have a fantastic week.